And the first day we showed up to his employment, a person came out and said to John, who's that little guy running around in the back room out there? John goes, oh, a friend of mine. He goes, you know, you're not supposed to bring anybody to work with you. And the kid needs a break, you know, he doesn't have anywhere to hang out, so I told him I'd give him a break, you know, give him something to do, try to keep him out of trouble. Well, from that time on, John has been my big brother. He's helped me in every way that a person could ask for. He was at my wedding. I named my daughter was his godfather, and he's just been such a person to come to when you have finding yourself. When I enrolled in college at BCC, I said, John, what do you think? You think I should go to college? He goes, Ed, you didn't even get out of high school. How do you go to college? I said, geez, John, they told me if I go take this test, I could get into college. He goes, well, okay. So then he go tell again, he goes, geez, I don't know what that kid's up to now. But I didn't want to break his heart, so I told him, go ahead. So I got into BCC. So the first semester, I call up John, I go, John, I made the honor roll. He goes, what school did you go to? I go, BCC. He goes, you know, that's community college stuff, you know. It's okay. So the second semester, I made honor roll. Third semester, fourth semester, I graduate. I call up John, I go, well, John, I'm going to go to Boston next year to go to school. Boston? He goes, yeah, all you do is get out of BCC. That's the big time down there. I said, well, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to commute every day from Adams to north to Boston, which turned out to be 65,000 miles. John said, you won't last a week. I said, well, a lot of people say that, John. But he goes, you got to try it. You got to find your own destiny. I said, okay. So I get out of Boston. I'm driving back and forth. First semester, I call up John. John, it's Christmas, and I got two presents for you. One, I'm in the honor roll. Two, I'm coming up to visit you. He goes, that's nice, but you can wait on the second one. So as time progressed, I'm in Boston, and, you know, each quarter we would get together, and we would talk about, you know, school, and you go, who's actually taking the class? Is your wife taking the class, or you taking the class? I go, geez, last time I knew I was there. So the second semester at Emerson, I got a 4.0, called John up. John, I did the alternate, got all A's. He goes, what'd you take? Basket weaving, knitting, crochet, hockey, tennis? I said, no, I took some real classes, public policy, you know, Shakespeare, debating, you know, English, history. He goes, boy, these teachers must not know you, or you got somebody taking your classes. I said, no, it's me, John. So the big day comes, I get to the point to graduate. I said, John, I want you to come to my graduation party, you know. I said, I'm going to graduate in May. I'm going to graduate fifth in my class out of 700 students. John goes, who's doing the math? I go, that's what they told me. He goes, well, I'll see you when I get the diploma. So he comes, they give me the diploma, I show him, I go, see, John, it says honors, magna cum laude, the whole thing. John goes, how much you pay for this? I said, a couple bucks. I said, well, that's all I knew, like 25,000, but I said, I didn't know. So he says to my wife, he goes, how did you take his classes, and how did he get those grades? And I said, hey, I don't get at 4 in the morning and travel with him. He's on his own. So I finished college, and I said to John, well, John, I don't know what to do with my life, you know? I said, I'm working at Hillcrest, washing floors, cleaning toilets. I said, I think I should go to grad school. He goes, grad school? Yeah, no, I get to go to college. I said, well, they tell me it's pretty good when you get to grad school. He goes, where do you want to go? I said, well, I think I'm going to go to Tufts or RPI. He goes, no way, they ain't going to let you in. I said, well, I got pretty good grades. I said, I got to go take my SATs. So I applied to RPI and Tufts. I go in, I take my SATs, I get 450, you know. I said, John, I didn't do well on my SATs, but I got accepted to RPI and Tufts. He goes, I don't know what you got going. And I said, well, somebody likes me up there. So I go over to RPI, first semester, make honors. I call John up after the semester. I go, John, I got a 4.0. He goes, at RPI? He goes, I thought that was a good school. I said, it is. He goes, who's taking your classes? I said, John, you gotta give me, at some point, John, you gotta recognize I did something. So no matter what I did in college, it was never good enough. He would always put that carrot out in front of me and make me go to the next step. And he would say to Gail, he'd go, I don't know, is that kid really going to school or is somebody, you know, filling in for him? So I finished at RPI and I said, well, John, what do I do now? Well, a little bit of politics. So I did a little bit of politics, bounced around, and then I ended up in the State House. So then in my time at the State House, I said, John, I think I'm going to go to UMass and do my MBA. John goes, wait a minute now. You've already been to Beer Can College. You've been to Boston. You've been to RPI. Why do you want to do another college? I said, well, maybe I'll get a job, better job. He goes, I think you're wasting your time. Now you got to do math. You got to do statistics. You got to do all that. So as time goes on, I go down to UMass. My wife and I are both in the same class. Guess what? I graduated ahead of her. John couldn't figure out how she had the brains, and I graduated ahead of her. But as time progressed, John was always my inspiration. He was a person, no matter when everybody else felt that I wasn't going to achieve, he knew I would. And he was supportive. And when you look at a gentleman that can stand here, I remember this priest once told me long ago, if you come into this world and you can count 5 friends on one hand, you've made an accomplishment. And very few people can say that in their lifetime. But John Giorgi, tonight, when you look at all these people here, and you look at for talent, for ball players, I mean, I can remember times as a young man, we went to Winslow, Connecticut. We were playing on there. And Buddy Peller wanted to throw me out of the car at 80 miles an hour in a yellow Dodge. That's a true story. Johnny was having a heart attack.
That's a true story.
Then I remember one time we went up to get Joe Zavatero. He was coming up through the window with his spikes. Johnny's going, I've seen everything. But we've had some good times. We went down to Taunton and played down there. Jimmy Doran called it Michigan Bowl. You know, Billy Capuri hit a baseball. It had to be 500 yards. The guy was running, and Johnny goes, there's no way that sucker's going to be caught by that guy. And he's running, and Jimmy Doran's going, no. Next thing you know, this guy catches it out there. Next thing came out, man, it's like playing a Michigan Bowl. He can't win here either. But Johnny was a competitor. I've never met a person in my life that didn't like to lose. He would focus phenomenal to win. I remember one game he pitched, his shoulder was so bad. That morning I said, John, how are you going to pitch tonight? He goes, well, I'm going to ice it, and I'm just going to keep working it, and no matter what, I'm going to play. He went out that night against the Turners, against Rougeau, and he pitched a 2-hitter with a bad shoulder. But he wouldn't let anybody know he did those things. And this is why we're here tonight. We're here because we honor somebody that has pure dedication, honesty, the love of the game. And he is a person that everybody looks at to as John, the man who knows how to play. He's not afraid to take anybody out. He's not afraid to throw a pitch at anybody. He's not afraid to stand up for what he believes in. And I know over the course of the time, knowing him as long as I have, him and the mayor have had a few disagreements. And he called me up and he goes, you know, I think politics suck. And I go, John, that's what it's all about. You know, you make your move, he makes his move. But John always believed in one thing, the love of North Adams. I don't think there's anybody that loves North Adams more than John Giorgi does. And I'm proud to be his friend. Thank you.
Bobby in the back, would you do me a favor? See if you can get Dave Lewis for me and tell him to come out here. I'd like to just talk to him for 1 second.
I didn't have to get back there.
And when you're back there, get a couple of baskets or something. Just to pass around, a couple of hats or something. Would you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, David Lewis has been in the catering business since he was 13 years old. He started out at the 1896 house. He's done more catering jobs, charities, political events for free or nearly free than anyone else, and we are so fortunate to have with us tonight David. Now I think he's being modest, but Bobby, get David out here for us, would you please?
He went home already. He went home.
Let's give a big hand to David.
Come out with white paper.
Nobody else. All right, continue on.
Our next speaker tonight is Mr. Roger Cerrone, who with his wife, he lives in